7 bad money habits keeping you poor. Most people don't stay poor because they don't make enough money. They stay poor because they repeat the same invisible behaviors over and over again. Poverty is rarely dramatic. It's not a single bad decision. It's not one financial disaster. It's a pattern, small habits, repeated monthly, reinforced yearly, until they harden into identity. And the most dangerous part, most of these habits feel normal. They feel responsible. They feel safe. They feel justified. But quietly, they are draining your financial momentum. Today, we're not talking about how to get rich. We're dissecting the behaviors that keep you stuck. Because until you remove what's holding you down, no strategy will lift you up. Let's break them down. Habit number 1, paying yourself last. This habit sounds harmless, responsible even. Your paycheck comes in. You pay rent. You pay utilities. You clear subscriptions. You fund social plans. You cover obligations. And if there's anything left, you save it. If there's anything left. On the surface, this feels mature, but psychologically, something dangerous is happening. You are ranking yourself last. Every single month, you reinforce the same message. Everyone else gets paid first. I get what's left. And what's left is usually nothing. Savings become optional. Wealth becomes accidental. And your future becomes dependent on leftovers. This creates a survival identity. You're not building, you're reacting. You're not accumulating power, you're managing pressure. The wealthy operate differently. They treat saving like a bill, non-negotiable, automatic, first. Not because they have extra money, but because they understand one thing: if you don't prioritize your future first, your present will consume everything. When saving depends on discipline at the end of the month, it will always lose to emotion in the middle of the month. Impulse is stronger than intention. And every time you skip saving, you teach your brain that long-term growth is optional. Paying yourself first isn't just a tactic, it's an identity shift. It says, I am building something, not surviving, building. And without that shift, you will always feel like money slips through your hands, because it does. Habit number 2, getting comfortable with bad debt. Debt has been normalized. It's marketed as convenience, flexibility, rewards, points. But psychologically, debt does something subtle. It disconnects effort from consequence. You get the reward now. The cost comes later, and later never feels urgent. So you swipe for clothes, for upgrades, for experiences, for things that momentarily elevate status. But here's the truth. Debt is selling tomorrow to impress today. Every dollar borrowed at high interest is future labor already claimed. You are working for a past decision. And the most dangerous part, it feels manageable. Minimum payments, small amounts, extended timelines, until you realize interest compounds against you. While investments compound for you, consumer debt compounds against you. It is reverse wealth building. You think you're buying a lifestyle, but what you're actually buying is delayed freedom. Debt creates artificial progress. You look upgraded, you feel upgraded, but your net worth is shrinking silently. Financial pressure increases, options decrease, stress rises, and slowly your energy goes toward maintenance instead of momentum. If you cannot afford something without borrowing, you are not buying the item. You are buying stress. You are buying limitation. And you are reducing your future flexibility. The wealthy avoid bad debt not because they fear spending, but because they understand leverage. Leverage should build assets, not finance consumption. The moment you become comfortable with high-interest debt, you've accepted that your future income belongs to someone else. And that is one of the fastest ways to stay poor. Habit number 3, saving without investing, confusing safety with progress. Saving feels responsible. It feels disciplined. It feels like you're doing something right. And in the beginning, you are. An emergency fund is protection. It is stability. It is control. But here's where the psychology turns against you. You start mistaking safety for growth. Money sitting idle feels secure, but idle money is slowly shrinking. Inflation doesn't announce itself. It doesn't send warnings. It erodes silently. And this is where long-term thinkers separate themselves. One of the most repeated principles in wealth building is simple: money must work. If you work for money your entire life and your money never works for you, you will always depend on effort. And effort has limits. Saving without investing creates a ceiling. You feel productive, but you are static. You avoid risk, but you also avoid opportunity. The truth is uncomfortable. Avoiding intelligent risk is a risk in itself. Long-term wealth is built through ownership. Ownership of businesses, ownership of assets, ownership of productive systems, not just accumulation of currency. If your money is not compounding, you are standing still in a moving world. And standing still financially is falling behind. Habit number 4, not knowing your numbers, emotional avoidance. This one is less dramatic, but more dangerous. You don't track your net worth. You don't calculate your expenses. You don't measure your cash flow, because looking at the numbers makes it real, and reality can feel uncomfortable. But what gets measured improves, and what gets ignored expands quietly. Financial blindness is rarely about math. It's about emotion. When you avoid your numbers, you avoid accountability, and without clarity, there is no strategy. Disciplined investors think in probabilities, margins, and data. They don't guess. They calculate. If you don't know what you own, what you owe, what you spend, what you earn, then you are navigating in the dark. And hope is not a financial strategy. Clarity creates control. Control creates confidence. Confidence creates better decisions. And better decisions compound. Habit number 5, lifestyle inflation, spending to match identity. Your income increases, so your lifestyle increases. Bigger apartment, better car, more dining out, higher standard. It feels deserved. You worked harder, you earn more. But here's the trap. If your expenses grow as fast as your income, your wealth stays flat. You upgraded comfort, not freedom. Psychologically, lifestyle inflation is about identity. You don't just want more money, you want visible progress. And spending becomes proof of success. But real wealth is quiet. It's not in what you show, it's in what you own. There's a reason disciplined investors live below their means long after they can afford more. Because every unnecessary dollar spent today is a dollar that cannot compound tomorrow. And compounding is slow at first, which is why patience is rare. If you increase income without increasing discipline, you simply become a higher earning spender, not a wealth builder. Habit number 6, focusing only on saving, scarcity ceiling. Some people take the opposite extreme. They cut everything. They optimize every expense. They chase discounts. They obsess over minor savings. And discipline is good, but there's a limit to how much you can cut. You cannot shrink your way to wealth. You can reduce expenses by 10%, 20%, maybe 30%. But income has no theoretical ceiling. When you only focus on saving, you operate from scarcity. When you focus on increasing income, you operate from expansion. The mindset shift is critical. Instead of asking, "How can I spend less?" ask, "How can I create more value?" Because income grows when value grows. And value creation is infinite. Ownership, skills, equity, businesses, these are expansion tools. Savings protect you. Income growth propels you. You need both. But wealth is built on the expansion side of the equation. Habit number 7, waiting too long to start, ignoring time. This may be the most expensive habit of all. Delay. I'll invest when I know more. I'll start when I earn more. I'll begin next year. But time is the real multiplier. Compounding does not reward intensity. It rewards duration. Starting small today is more powerful than starting big later, because time magnifies consistency. Every year you wait, you reduce the power of compounding, and you increase the effort required later. The uncomfortable truth: you cannot negotiate with time, you cannot buy it back, and you cannot accelerate compounding once the early years are gone. The earlier you start, the less you need to contribute. The later you start, the harder you must push. Wealth is not about brilliance, it's about patience. Closing the pattern: none of these habits are dramatic. They don't ruin you overnight. They just quietly prevent progress. paying yourself last, normalizing debt, saving without investing, avoiding your numbers, upgrading lifestyle too fast, only cutting expenses, waiting for the perfect time. Individually, they seem small, repeated monthly, they become structural, and poverty is structural. Wealth is also structural. It's built from disciplined behavior repeated for years. Not hype, not luck, not shortcuts, just consistent alignment between decisions and long-term thinking. Change the habits, and you change the trajectory, because money is not just math, it is behavior, and behavior repeated long enough becomes destiny.